Once upon a time, in a cozy little room filled with toys and books, lived a girl named Zara. Zara was a brave and cheerful girl during the day, but when night fell and the shadows began to dance on her walls, a tiny shiver of fear would creep up her spine. The long dark shapes seemed to twist and turn, looking like strange creatures from a far-off land. One evening, as the moonlight painted silvery patterns on her floor, Zara huddled under her blankets, her eyes wide. She watched a shadow of her rocking chair sway back and forth, and the shadow of her teddy bear seemed to grow taller and taller. She took a deep breath and whispered into the quiet room, "I wish shadows weren't so scary." Just as the words left her lips, something incredible happened. The shadow of her own hand stretched out on the wall, wiggled its fingers, and gave a little wave. Zara's heart did a little flip-flop. Then a soft, whispery voice echoed from the wall. "Hi, I'm Shadow. I'm not scary at all. I'm just a little lonely." Zara blinked once, then twice, rubbing her eyes to make sure she wasn't dreaming. You can talk." She stammered, her fear slowly melting away and being replaced by wide-eyed wonder. The shadow nodded its head, mimicking Zara's own movement. "Of course I can," Shadow replied, its voice like the rustling of leaves. "We shadows have a secret world. Let me show you what we really do." Before Zara could ask another question, Shadow stretched out a long, dark arm from the wall. It gently took Zara's hand, and the world around her began to transform. It felt like stepping through a soft velvet curtain. Suddenly, she wasn't in her room anymore. She was standing in a magical land made entirely of silhouettes. The trees looked like they were cut from black paper, their leaves rustling with a gentle, silent wind. Graceful shadow birds flew across a dusky grey sky, and a river of flowing darkness shimmered nearby. "Wow," Zara breathed, her eyes sparkling. It's beautiful." She looked at Shadow, who was now standing beside her, a perfect, dark copy of herself. "This is our world," Shadow explained. "We shadows copy you so that you're never truly alone. When you play, we play with you. When you dance, we dance too. We're your silent companions, and we protect you from the deep, empty dark." Zara finally understood. The shadows weren't monsters, they were friends. As they explored the shadow world, a strange sound broke the silence. It was a loud, wobbly crying. In the distance, a giant, wiggly shadow monster appeared. It was quivering and shaking, and huge, dark tears were rolling down its face. Zara felt a flicker of her old fear, but Shadow placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. "Don't be afraid," Shadow said calmly. "He's not dangerous. He's just lost. He's the shadow of the old lamp in your attic, and he must have gotten separated from it." Seeing the monster's sadness, Zara's fear vanished completely. She walked up to the giant, trembling shape, her own shadow bravely following her. "Hello," she said gently. "Are you lost? Do you want to return to your lamp?" The big, wobbly monster stopped crying and slowly nodded its head, remembering something her mum had taught her. Zara reached into her pocket and pulled out a small emergency lantern she always carried. She clicked it on, and a bright beam of light shot out, cutting through the dusky landscape. The moment the light touched the giant shadow, a magical thing happened. It began to shrink, getting smaller and smaller, until it was just a normal-sized shadow of an old-fashioned lamp. It happily wiggled back and forth, as if to say thank you, before it zipped away, back to the attic where it belonged. Shadow turned to Zara, its silhouette glowing with pride. "You're very brave, Zara," it whispered. Zara smiled, feeling a warm glow inside her that had nothing to do with the lantern. "Thanks, Shadow," she replied. "I guess shadows aren't scary after all. They're just friends I hadn't met yet." Shadow pulled her into a soft, shadowy hug, and just as quickly as they had left, they were back in her room. Zara climbed back into her bed, the room no longer feeling spooky. She looked at her wall, where Shadow was waving a gentle goodbye before settling into its usual place beside her. From that night on, Zara was never afraid of the dark again. She slept peacefully every night, wrapped in her cozy blankets, knowing her best friend Shadow was always there, quietly watching over her. Thank you so much for joining us for this story. If you loved Zara and Shadow's adventure, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more magical tales. We'll see you next time.